Hey Paisanos, it's me again. Sonic Forces was the worst Sonic game released in 2017. Despite that fact, it's still pretty good. In this game you play as Sonic, and if you have the DLC, Shadow 2. That's not who we're here to talk about today. Today we're talking about you. Yes, you and your personal OC. Sonic Forces gave us the create a character system where you can make your own new character with your own unique design. But the thing that really matters here are the Wispons, the new weapons that you can give your little guys. There are 6 total, each with their own unique ability. Well, there's actually 7, but I don't respect Cube and its general existence. But my real mission today is finding out which weapon is the best. To do this, I'll be speedrunning the same 5 levels using the specific shortcuts and abilities of the weapon to see which one is the fastest and most efficient at getting S ranks. Each weapon is being represented by a different OC based off one of my fellow cast members. First up, we have Teeth the Cat, representing Burst, which is a flamethrower with the ability to give infinite double jumps when you grab a Wisp. Walkman the Hedgehog, representing Lightning, which turns into a whip and lets you do the lightspeed dash when you hit a trail of rings or on enemies. Scruffy the Dog, representing the Drill Wispon, which lets you break the game. There's Western June Wolf, representing the Void Wispon, which creates a black hole that sucks in all enemies and rings in its radius. And last, we have Wanted Terrorist the Metal Lark, aka the Bird, who is representing both the Asteroid and Hover Wispon. I decided to double up on one because Asteroid's special ability, which functionally just makes the character invincible, doesn't create any new pathways, but it does have the ability to multi-target enemies and does insane damage to bosses. While Hover does no damage to bosses, but its special ability, which just lets you fly, creates several pathways if you use it right. The way I set this up is that I would do a couple of practice runs for each stage, then I would play every stage with each weapon until I got what could be considered a perfect run. A perfect run would be a run where I took every possible unique shortcut with close to 0 mess-ups. I will then determine the best weapon by which one has the best times, but I will also consider based off which weapons got the easiest S ranks. For the first level, we have Stage 16, which is a 3D solo stage where the player spends most of it being hunted down by Infinite. The weapon that performed the best here was the Drill Wispon. Its ability to crash through enemies while going above the natural top speed made it the best weapon for any segment with a straight line, unsurprisingly. Although Lightning did stand out as it came in dead last for times, but it was the only one to get an S rank. I believe with a little experimenting, its time could be evened out while still maintaining the S rank. It should be noted that certain speedrun strategies can't be maintained for every weapon even when not considering the weapon power because of the weapon skills. Every weapon has secondary attributes on it that change how things can be done, with the big 3 being the skill that gives you invincibility after collecting 100 rings, the skill that makes you grind faster, and the skill that makes your homing attack faster. But because this game is poorly documented, I don't know where to get all of these, so I had to just rock with whatever weapons I had after an hour of grinding. So this created a situation where Burst and Drill had 2 of the best abilities, but I don't think this affected things too much in the long run, mostly because this only really was relevant in Stage 16. Next up we have Stage 20, which takes place in Guardian Rock and is a 2D stage where you spend most of it dodging this giant spike robot spider thing. Honestly, I didn't get too much data from here because Burst and Hover shortcuts take more time than they're worth, and Asteroid doesn't have any shortcuts to abuse. So What's a Grand Drill takes it with the fastest time, although Void was a close second thanks to its teleportation. Then we have Stage 24, which is a 3D team-up stage with the Sonic the Hedgehog. Team-up stages are notable in that you get access to your standard arsenal and Sonic's instant homing attack plus as a boost, which do change up how you do things ever so slightly. And in this stage, things play out differently. Here you can access the special abilities of Hover, Drill, or Asteroid. And because this entire level is over bottomless pits, and because this is a glitchless run, it makes Drill too risky to spam here. This leads to Void and Lightning being the best bets, where they got a tie for the best time. Although Void has the potential to be the fastest, it's so unruly and takes so many attempts that Lightning is usually the safer and more consistent route. And for the final level, we have Stage 25, another solo 2D stage which takes place in the Imperial Tower. This stage was a bitch to speedrun, but by God did I do it. In the end, the weapon with the best time ended up being Drill again, unsurprisingly. It helps that Drill does just let you ignore almost any and every obstacle in your way. Look at that dog go. But Lightning, while a bit harder to work with, came in a respectable 2nd place. Despite being hard to S rank with, none of the weapons are really very different to use besides those 2 though. And to end things off, we're looking at Stage 17, which is the boss fight against Infinite. I figured it'd be smart to look at least at one boss fight to help get an idea of how the weapons are for bosses too. And the lesson here is that Infinite is a total chump. The best weapons for this are Burst and Asteroid by far because you can just shoot them point blank non-stop with no problems. The only weapons that have problems are Void and Hover, which don't even do damage. There's also Lightning, which lets you whip infinite, which is pretty funny. But with all of this data, I've come to a pretty solid conclusion. Starting at the bottom of the list, we have Hover. Its shortcuts aren't short, and its attacking method slows you down with no real benefit. That's all. Hover sucks. Next up, we have Asteroid with an asterisk. In actual levels, Asteroid is not helpful, its attacking methods is not good, and its special ability does not make you any faster, but the asterisk that is disgustingly good for bosses. After that, we have Void. It being this far on the list makes me sad because it's really cool, but it really isn't that useful. Mostly due to the level design making it difficult to use Void's teleportation ability in any meaningful context. In third place, we have the Burst Wispon. It's standard, it's reliable, but it is kind of boring to use and has the same side effects as Hover, where its shortcuts aren't very short. You only use Burst if you're a little baby who doesn't know how to play video games. In second place, we have Lightning, which is easy S-rank fodder. It attacks fast, it attacks snappy, and it gives you full access to good pathways. But unfortunately, it just isn't fast enough. And in first place of the weapons ranking is Drill, unsurprisingly. It's so good to makes all the other weapons look like hot garbage in comparison. Its attacks are a bit unruly, but by God does it get shit done. So good that it's the basis for most speedrun that uses glitches as well. In the end, the results weren't very surprising, but it did confirm to me that Forces is cooler than people give credit, in that the cube hammer is an affront to God that shouldn't have been made.